scientific or technical. It's 2:32 p.m. here in New Zealand on Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. So I'm just going to do a video and upload it to the channel. And if anyone watches the video, that's cool. And if anyone jumps into the chat while I'm filming this, even better. But yeah, I'd like to go through a couple of guitars that I picked up last year that some of you may be familiar with, and some may not be. So yeah. So the first guitar I'd like to talk about is my Ernie Ball Music Man Axis. I picked this up a few months ago, last year, off Trade Me, which is a New Zealand equivalent to eBay. And very excited at the time to see it listed, because these guitars, brand new in this country, are around the 4.5, 5K mark. I kid you not. Yeah, I had priced one 18 months ago. I was always a fan of Eddie Van Halen's Music Man. Now this is the version of the guitar that Ernie Ball continued after Eddie left and set up his venture with Peavey. So this is the guitar here. So you can see it's an amber. You can see that I've put the .51 50 decal on, and I've also put these eye bolts on to replicate Eddie's guitar. I'll show those to you too. Just hold on, I'll move the mic out of the way. Yeah, so like I say, I was lucky to pick this guitar. It came with its original case. It's a 94, 95. The guy that had it since brand new, and I got it for a very good price. So what's really, really amazing about these guitars is the asymmetric neck, which apparently is modeled on Eddie's 5150. So I won't describe asymmetric. There's plenty of videos out there and websites that will probably give you a picture of what asymmetric is as opposed to a standard C-shaped neck. But it's remarkable. It's a remarkable neck. It's quite narrow. Hold on. So it's quite narrow. It's beautiful to play. I've yet to put a D-tuner on this too, but I will eventually put a D-tuner on. But this is me playing it through my new Yamaha THR 30 with what they call the Van Halen 90s setting, which is again pretty remarkable. So I'm going to play a couple of tunes. I won't get flagged because I'm not monetized or anything like that. So, but I'll just give you a bit of an idea of how good it sounds. Yeah, cheers, Arvin. So I'm just I don't know how long you've been watching for, but I'm just talking about a few of the guitars that I picked up last year. So this is my Ernie Ball Music Man Axis. So it's not the signature one. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I just showed it a couple of minutes ago. I'll just show you on the camera. Hold on. So I put these eye bolts on, and obviously I'll put the 5150 decal on, and I'm yet to put the detuner on, and I'm playing through my Yamaha THR 30 on their standard Van Halen 90 setting, which sounds pretty good. I think. Yeah, so that's number one. I also picked up a bass last year. So this is what they call the vintage brand. And that's the vintage. Hold on. I've got to work out where the heck the camera is. So that's the vintage brand bass. And hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. It's a P bass. It came originally relicked, but I've polished it up a bit, so you can see there it was a matte finish, but I buffed it up, and I also play through a using a sponge, so I get that Motown James Jamerson feel. But yeah, it's awesome bass. I won't bother plugging the bass in. But yeah, can't go wrong with a bass, P bass. Damasio pickups, which is surprisingly good. Yeah, good bass guitar. So I picked that up last year as well. Now this is a custom vibe 60s Fender made in Japan guitar that I've had for a few years, and it originally came with this tortoise shell scratch plate, but I changed it last year with a white scratch plate, so you can see there it's white. The pickups and everything's the same. I relic this to sort of mimic Stevie Ray Vaughan and Gallagher's guitar. I also last year changed the block. Now, the block that came standard with these is what they call a skinny thin block. So I managed to get a aftermarket one and put that in, and man, it made a difference. It's amazing what a decent block can do to a guitar. Now, I don't use a trem on this at all, but just that sustain, yeah, works well. Yeah, the Jamison sponge, Arvin. Yeah, if you want that Motown feel, you got to have it. Yeah. I must say so. I was a bit hesitant to do it, but yeah, it's come up pretty well. And this is always tuned half a step down because when I'm trying to vibe channel Stevie Ray Vaughan, this is my Texas blues guitar, and later on I'll change the settings and I'll see what you guys think. Do I play the guitar every day? Yes, I do. Kubrick Glover. Yeah, I have to. Is that camera? It's not reflecting too much. Okay, so that's number 3. So I'll grab another guitar. So this is my EVH 5150. I bought this a couple of years ago. Most of us here in the chat know Johnny Bean, so I was inspired by the Johnny Bean show to get the guitar. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I've made a few changes to it. So there it is there. It's the EVH 5150. Okay, so what I've done is I've changed the pickup. It came with what they call the Wolfgang, but I never liked the Wolfgang. It was just it was a bit icy, too sharp on my ears. So I swapped that pickup out with a JB, a Seymour Duncan JB, and nice difference. Again, too, you can see here where I've put these eye bolts on, and I've changed the Floyd Rose. The Floyd Rose that was on this guitar was a Mexican-made EVH, and I've swapped that out with a German-made Floyd Rose, and I put a brass block in and put those springs in, and I'm pretty amazed actually about that, because I'm not a techie kind of guy when it comes to guitars, and I did all that myself. I changed the block, did the pickup myself. So yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. So the neck on this is so much different. It's quite a lot thicker and chunkier than what's on the. Sorry about that. What's on the EVH? Sorry, on the Music Man. But yeah, I'll play a couple of riffs on this and see what you think. one thing I don't like about this guitar, and I'm going to change it, it's this knob here. It's what they call the low friction, and I'm always doing stuff around here, and it's not like on a Strat where it's got friction, so you tend to keep it in position, but on this one here, it just, I don't like it. It's a pain in the, sounds good. I appreciate that. We'll talk about the amp, but certainly the amp was that much of a job getting the block. I've got skinny blocks on mine. Thinking, I did take some advice. I watched a few YouTube channels. The best advice was to take these off in order. So take them off and put them in order, or tape them when you've taken them off, because you want to put these back in the right place. Otherwise, it could be a problem trying to work out where that goes and setting your intonation. And then you just unscrew it, and then the block comes out, and no, was. I won't swear, but it was, piss easy for a guy like me to do it anyway. So so that's my EVH, and that's relicking. I'm going to let that relic naturally. I made a couple of changes on the neck. You might see there that I just tried to get a few years of extra effort on that neck because it was too shiny. Now, this has got a little bit of a story. This is a 1989 Fender Clapton Stratocaster, and in pewter grey, stock. It's got what they call the V-neck. Now, this guitar's got a bit of a story. As I said before, it's an 89 Strat. I bought it off an acquaintance in 1995 and sold it in 2000. And it had swapped hands with a couple of people, and it became a guitar for sale last year that I found out through some friends, and probably paid a little bit too much for it, but managed to get it back. So nice guitar. It's got the mid boost and the tone, mid boost and the TBX and the lace sensors. This played better. I had the black Clapton Blackie 2016. I had that for a couple of years. I got rid of that last year because this just sounded so much better than the black one. So I might plug that in, but that's standard. Now, this is an Epiphone ES 335, and I picked this up last year. Obviously, if you're a Clapton nut, Cream, farewell concert, Albert Hall, Clapton's playing that. So I made some changes. This came standard with Epiphone pickups, and I swapped them out with Tone Riders, which weren't, they're not, top of the range pickups, but, certainly a little bit better than the standard Epiphones. And sounds good. I'm having problems with the selector. Sometimes when I flick it down to play the bridge, it doesn't fully engage. So I may have to get my friend who's a luthier to put a Switchcraft, something that's just a little bit better, because like I say, I've been caught out where it hasn't engaged when you go and do your solo and you're caught there with your pants down and you're getting nothing. I'd be scared to replace the pickups on my guitar because I'd be afraid. Kubrick lover. I would never recommend anybody to have a go and do it themselves. If you've got some doubts there, find a friend or pay, to get someone to do it. I've been playing a guitar 30 years, and all I ever did with my guitars was just change the strings, clean them, and maybe do some neck adjustments. I never did anything, and I still probably wouldn't do a lot. Like I say, I'm lucky enough to have a couple of friends who are pretty good, and a luthier around the corner from where I work who's pretty good. So I would always go and see a pro. So you've got the same one, Arvin. Yeah. The phenomenal guitar. So it's got that solid block through there. So much different from my Casino. I love this guitar. I love it. It's got what they call a D-shaped neck. So it's it's a good guitar. Interesting enough, I remember they were advertising this guitar on YouTube a couple of years ago, but we couldn't get them here for a long time. There was an issue with the supplier, I think, or supply. And you managed to pick it up again, brand new for a pretty good price. No, this didn't include a case, no. So yeah, good guitar. And I think about June, July last year, I picked up my Les Paul, and hold on. So this is my Les Paul Traditional and Sunburst. It's got burst bucker pickups, and it's 2019. Now I'll tell you guys something. So I saved up for this guitar for about 4 years, knowing that 2019 was going to be a year on the calendar. And being a British blues nut, like most of us here, we know that the Gibson Les Paul 59s are pretty cool guitars. So I thought, if I bought one that was a 2019, it'll be 60 years from the 59, and in 60 years' time, I won't be around, but somebody I may know, or 20 years, or might even be 10 years. It might be, the 2019 Les Pauls might be, wow, a magic guitar. So that's my theory of waiting for 2019. I've never been a guitar snob. I've played a lot of Les Paul replicas over the years. I've spoken on this channel many times about my vintage Les Paul Lemon Drop, which is a pretty good guitar. but I have to tell you, playing this guitar is a little bit different from playing my replica. It's a heavy guitar. That maple cap makes a difference in the sound acoustically. The sound jumps out, and it's just it sounds good. What's really interesting about these guitars is that they don't sound dark like I originally thought they would. They're quite bright. Now, I've done some research, and apparently the 59 Les Pauls and, any good Les Paul sounds really good because it's bright. So, we live and learn, the internet teaches us a lot of things. So, and I sunbathe this guitar too. I got told by a couple of people. So this guitar will spend, when I'm home in the weekend, when it's a sunny day, I'll put it on a guitar stand and I'll put it outside for 3 or 4 hours in the sun. Now, the theory behind that is that the sun draws out any moisture in the wood, which is what you want the guitar to sound like. You want to draw that moisture out. And also this finish on here is quite soft. And I noticed that, it's probably not going to show up here on the camera, but there were just a couple of little grooves in here from the button on my cargo shorts. So it's quite soft. And also there were a couple of little marks under there where it was sitting on my guitar stand. So it was just making these little marks in the coating, which I think is a nitro coating. So a couple of guys have said, well, what you have to do with these Les Pauls, put them out in the sun. Let the sun, you can keep them in your room or in your studio or something like that, and let that happen naturally. But the sun will also, quickly do what it needs to do to the guitar. Yeah, Arvin, it's gorgeous. It's obviously, it's based on Clapton and the 59 or the 60 that he played. So it's lovely. I love it. Heavy as. And one thing though, again, we're all guitar players here, is this neck, man. This neck is just, it's so thick. When I'm, you've really got to sort of know what you're doing, as opposed to my Strats or that Ernie Ball Music Man that I showed earlier, which is quite narrow. But this here is quite. A couple of guys have said this word, which describes, I think, the feeling that we have sometimes with guitars. Sometimes you have to fight the guitar. If that makes any sense to you, Arvin, Sonia, and Kubrick Lover, I think that probably sums up the feeling you get. It's like you've got to fight to make it work. But very happy with this. I heard the sunlight changes the. Yeah. That's exactly right. The nitros. Yeah. You're right there, Arvin, and that's. I'm happy to do that. I won't make any changes to it. I won't change the tune, the machine heads or the tuners. But I have noticed a difference in the neck since I've been sunbathing it. And what's really interesting is that when I first started doing that, hold on, it's the bloody strap's getting caught up in the guitar stand. Hold on. When I first started doing that, I noticed there was condensation. Like just a little film of condensation. Again, which is a good thing. What you want to dry these guitars out. Yeah, those are the guitars I got last year. Now, some of the gear that I got, these, what do you call them? Bluetooth, wireless guitar things. That goes into your amp, and that goes into your guitar. I was always skeptical about how good they were until a friend of mine showed me the ones he was using. I thought, holy cow. That makes a difference not having a cord. So just hold on while I just change the setting in my amp. So this is the Clapton Strat. This is volume on 10. 18 volts. Just wasting a bit of time. Okay, and this is the TBX turned up. Now, this is on 10. And this is the volume turned down about 6. So you get that, stratish kind of sound. But just again, we're all guitar players, and going from one guitar to another, the neck on this compared to my Gibson, it's just so nice. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Bloody necks on guitars can make a big difference. Hey, David, I'm just talking about some guitars that I picked up last year. That's also, yeah. So what have we missed here? But my guitars are in soft cases. Yep. I've got a couple of soft cases and hard cases. Do you stick to the same amp, or have you got different ones? Oh, look, I've got my Marshall head here. I've got my Vibrolux. I've got a Vox Super Mini Beetle that Carl's got. But my main amp is this, the Yamaha. Hold on, guys. The Yamaha THR-10, THR-30. Now, this is the one that operates on battery, so you can, take it somewhere and play it without plugging it in. And it's also wireless as well. And it's got all the 3 different amp models that Yamaha previously brought out. So they brought out the THR-C, the X, and the original one. So this one here has all the models. So you get the high gain, You get the classic, and you get the what is it? What do they call it? The boutique, and it's phenomenal. It's just yeah, the patches that they've got in it are amazing. Put it back. So I've been using that for a long time. Last year I bought this as well. This is what they call the Oxbox. Now that look, I'm not a technical talking kind of guy, but an Oxbox is like an attenuator for an amp, but it also has the ability for you to use different cabinets through some software. So you can play, you know, a 1x10 or a Marshall stack. You know, they've got some V cabinets. It's just, yeah, phenomenal. So that's pretty good. And you can also play through your stack if you want. So you can turn your amp up to 10, and normally you'd blow your ears out, but you play through this, and you can use that to attenuate the sound down so that you're not going to blow your ears out or upset your neighbors. But yeah, pretty cool. Great Vanzini. G'day, Great Vanzini. I'm just wasting a bit of time talking about some gear. Oh, g'day, Ben. How's it going? Thanks for popping in. Yeah, like I've said, guys, just spoke about some guitars. I do a weekly show with Simon and Carl, and we talk about British blues and, you know, other blues cats. And in the hour or 2 hours that we do a show, we don't get a hell of a lot of time to talk about gear. So I did have a couple of comments. I think Kubrick's asked me a couple of times about some of the guitars that I've got. So I've just taken the opportunity with this lockdown to talk about it. Enjoy your channel, Ben. Keep up the good work. Good to see that you're safe and well. And yeah, keep up the good work. You know, appreciate the work that you do. Good to see you and Rich on your channel the other day. I didn't watch all of the show, but I watched half of it. It's good to see that you guys are hanging out and still up to the same old mischief. And I did enjoy the show that you did, a week ago, 2 weeks ago with, oh gosh, you know the guy, the Canadian guy. Oh, Pete Thorne. Yeah. That was a cool show. So yeah, keep up the good work. And again, Kubrick lover, you know, you keep up the good work. I watch your channel, man. I enjoy your videos. That's one of the great things about our community. I suppose it's just ordinary people, ordinary cats, just getting out, doing something, sharing something that they've got. Same thing with you, Great Vanzini. It's you know, good to see your experiences and some of the gear that you've got. Yeah, Pete was a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, he's a legend, you know, in a nice way, you know. And it became clear to me why he was a legend, because I didn't realize he was a Canadian. And then you guys were talking about Canadians, so when when he said he was a Canadian, that put it into perspective. No wonder he was a good guy. So, and I'm not sucking up to you either, Ben or Arvin. And I don't mean to upset any of our American friends, but yeah, Canadians and New Zealanders and Australians. I think we've got something there. Yeah, and Great Vanzini is going to be probably a semi-regular on our channel. He's going to come on next week and give us part 2 on jazz fusion, his transition from playing rock and roll, British blues, in the time of the 1960s when it was popular music, and has transitioned to jazz fusion, which is interesting. It's phenomenal. So I don't think he even managed to give us 15% of his story last week, because a couple of hours, you can't. What's 2 hours when you're doing a show on YouTube? Nothing. Just what's in the chat. Some days I think Oregon is the most northern part of oh yeah. Most southern part of Canada. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to argue against that. That makes sense. Yeah, I know some cool people from Oregon. Oregon of without saying too much on air, but I know some people involved in the social services industry, and the work that they do is a model that's from Oregon, and it's a treatment plan and program for young kids and their families. And the model and the whole program was developed from Oregon. So and it's making it's doing good. It's making some positive effects in young people's lives here in New Zealand. So that's cool. And hey Quentin. So I've just jumped on, Quentin. I've spent 45 minutes just talking about some of the guitars that I picked up last year and some of the changes that I've made. So I appreciate you guys jumping on, and I appreciate the fact that we all support each other. Quentin James is always a cool guy. I love watching what he's got to say on social media. If it's not making sense, which sometimes he does, it's you're quite philosophical this, Quentin, and that's a good thing. So Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you're serious and asking something philosophically challenging 1 minute, and then your next post you're taking the complete piss out of yourself or somebody or something. So that's a good gift. Don't change. I'm just here to get a laugh out of people. Well, yeah. I think so. We've got to laugh at ourselves first, don't we? And that's what the one thing about social media. That's one of the first things I remember Ben saying on his show 2 years ago, when he was talking about criticisms and negativity. I remember Ben specifically saying, one of the key things that we should do as musicians and music lovers of any degree is transform social media. We've got a duty, because we are creative people generally. So, why is it that people want to jump on someone's channel or someone's post and say, oh man, you suck, or that's wrong, or that's not the way to play it, because there's 50 ways to play a song, just because I play it this way doesn't mean it's wrong, so, but why would you put that comment there, why would you swear at somebody doing something, Yeah. So I take my hat off to Ben, because he was the guy that focused my attention on that as a musician, as a music lover. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we can, we don't want to change the world. We can't change the world, but certainly we can be influential with our comments on social media. So, good on you, Ben. Good on you for for highlighting that. And Simon and I and Carl, we've spoken about that a few times on our shows too. Say something nice. We've had a couple of comments put on something that we've done here, and sort of like work, and like, wow. I remember I was having a conversation about Eddie Van Halen, and I made the comment that Eddie Van Halen purposely kept away from playing a Les Paul because he didn't want to have any parallels or draw any comparisons between himself and Jimmy Page, who were at that time the two biggest guitar heroes. Now, I read that somewhere too, I don't know where, probably in a guitar interview. And then one guy makes a comment, "Oh, but on the Diver Down tour, he was playing a Les Paul." You dickhead, you wanker, And I'm okay, all right. But when you think of Eddie Van Halen, do you think of him there with a Les Paul? No, you don't. You think of him with his Frankenstrat, or his 5150. When you think of Jimmy Page, do you think of Jimmy Page and his Telecaster? Probably not. Most of us will think of him with his Les Paul. So, sometimes we can make general statements, but people want to nail you down because you've made a general statement about something. I've made so many good friends on YouTube. Yeah. Same here, Kubrick. Same here. Brought on a lot of hate for saying it, but who cares? Well, Ben, I think that's the great thing about your channel is that you've always, it's clear you want to grow your channel, and there's a place for what you do on YouTube. There's a place for everybody on YouTube, if you're going to say things, Ben, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to support you too. Don't forget that. Don't forget there's a shitload of more people out there who are going to support you and then hate on you. So, remember that, because you're pretty cool. So, Petty John is from the town I retired on. Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, look, I agree. When I think of friends, you think of the people you jam with, you think of the guys that you work with, you think of your neighbors, you think of the people that you may go to church with or worship with. But we also have friends on social media. And, I love that, I love the fact that Simon and I can get on and talk about British blues or the Rolling Stones with Carl for an hour. And then Arvin jumps in and says, "Oh, have you guys heard this?" Or, "Have you guys checked this out?" Or, no, it wasn't in standard tuning. That song was actually played in open G. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Simon and I are going to do a show for an hour later on, and in a couple of hours. So if you guys want to come back, that'll be great. But Great Vanzini is coming on in a couple of days' time, and Sonia always has an open invitation. Be good to catch up with you, Sonia. You're cool, Sonia. You get around and support people too. I see you in a lot of chats, so that's cool. It's yeah. What trolls are the kind of people that wake up in a foul mood? I'm not too much goofball. Yeah. Look. Yeah, I'll make it pretty clear here. Most of you guys know that I avoid talking politics on anything that we do. Like if we're talking about coronavirus and we're talking about the fact that the British Prime Minister caught it, well, that's probably about it. Or if the governor of New York has closed down New York and barring entry into New York, that would be great. But as far as talking about world leaders and world health organizations and things like that, I've got an opinion, don't get me wrong. But if I wanted to go and voice those opinions, I'd jump on some political channel somewhere and voice them. I wouldn't jump on Ben's channel and make a comment about the president of America or Mr. Justin Trudeau or something. It's just weird, you know. Why? Yeah. Yeah. That's good. The Guitar Forum. Yeah, I was just listening to some of Simon's father's music. Incredible stuff. Yeah. Well. I again. When Johnny Bean jumps in our shows, we always acknowledge Johnny Bean as the granddaddy because, to be fair, the Johnny Bean shows where we met, where I met Simon, where I met Ben, where I met Sonia. I think I probably met, I think Kubrick Lover, I met you there, and Arvin. I think we all met on the Johnny Bean show. Maybe the Great Van Zanny, I think I may have met him on Ben's show. But yeah, so when you think of it, one guy that's got 6,000 followers, inspires, somebody, and they get together and they go off and they do something, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. The grandfather. Yeah, well, that's right, because you've been doing your chat. Shit, time flies, Ben. I think a couple of years, I remember when Ben had less than 600 subscribers on his channel. May have been less, and then he had some big jumps, and then when he went to NAMM, and then he had that big jump, and I'm happy here in New Zealand when I see someone, 1,000 subs, because clearly, we all know, and Ben's not going to be ashamed of this. He'll tell you, Ben wants to grow his channel. He wants to be a YouTuber, and he deserves to get something for it because you put that effort in. You're in there, man. You're supporting people. You're moderating on other people's channels. So yeah, you deserve to get the recognition, and it will come. Again, I think you made a comment to me in Messenger once too by saying, you got told by someone just to hang in there, not to give up. It'll happen. I loved when Ben went to NAMM. They stole his wallet chain. Yeah. Offensive weapon. Really? Yeah. And what I loved about the live feeds too, and I agree with this. Ben was doing some live feeds with a couple of cats, and it was quite clear that Ben was getting a little bit pissed off because there was like a lot of swearing going on. And look, I think that's a good thing. Look, we swear on this channel probably 4 times or 5 times. I think I've said, but and I'm not a prude or anything like that, but when every second word is F this and F that, and it was funny. It was funny because, I could tell that Ben was getting, hey man, this is my channel, man. This is my baby. We don't have to swear all the time. But that was funny. That was was it Aaron? Was Aaron the guy? Because I know it wasn't JJ. Even though he uses a few F words though, but watching you and JJ go like, oh my gosh, that was mayhem too. That was good, That was good. That was good stuff. So we're all inspired by it, Ben. But you'll go corporate. I can see it. Yeah. And look, Aaron, I'm not breaking your balls, Aaron, or giving you grief. I'm just You know, it's not a criticism, but it was funny. It was funny. I was just trying to think of what Ben would say. Please watch was it the cussing or something? Yeah. It was great. It was a hoot. But yeah, you should have been at NAMM, but obviously, yeah, you can't. Yeah, wow. Hey, what's going to happen with NAMMs in the future with this coronavirus? You know, we were just talking last night about concerts. You know, the Rolling Stones having to put back their concerts. So, are you going to get the big concerts like we used to? Yeah. Blame China Mike for getting him drunk. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if you'll see smaller regional music merchant association get-togethers. Don't you think, Ben? You know, you might have one. Maybe Canada might do something. You know, yeah. Maybe they'll just make them smaller just to accommodate the fact that they don't want to have shitloads of people, but they know they'll have YouTubers there, you know, guys like Ben. So Ben's going to go along, and Ben's going to go along to 50 stands, and he's going to talk about 50 different products, and then he's going to get that out on his channel, and he's going to reach 50,000 people. So you can see how YouTube's going to play more of a significant role in product promotion. So hang in there, Ben. Gearfest, yeah. Did they count? Okay, but yeah, I'm sure they'll start smaller ones. You know, they've got to start somewhere because, you know, business still has to continue. You know, once this lockdown is over or quarantining, you know, once it's over, you know, we still have, you know, people still want to buy guitars, strings, amps, mics. We are, yeah, Ben's right. You guys are the press, and that's why you guys are more significant than the press, because I'll sit down and watch what you say. It'll be what you say. It's like the Anderton guys. It's what they say which determines whether or not the product is any good. They'll never sit there and say, shit, this is a crap product. But you'll pick up on what's been said and what's not been said, which will determine whether or not they think it's good, and obviously their reaction. So yeah, you're right, Ben. You guys are the press, but more real, because, you know, you're a guitar player. You know, you play in bands. You know the shit. You know what guitar players are looking for, and you can translate that quicker than some journalist who's probably can't strum a guitar. Does that make sense? Most factory tools to show new stuff. Yeah. No, hang in there, man. Hang in there. You'll be fine. I noticed Fender and Gibson putting more videos on YouTube. Yeah. They and I noticed Gibson are doing some guitar giveaways and amp giveaways to unfortunate kids or something like that. So, you know, that's good. You know, we won't be cynical about that, because, you know, if a guitar company wants to give some unfortunate kids, you know, access to guitars and amps and build its brand up and get some positive vibes from the guitar community, well, that's all good. I'm lucky to have a few companies. Yeah, but you've worked hard for that, Ben. So, you know, again, you're saying you're lucky, and that's modest. You know, that's you being modest. But, you know, guys, we all know that you've worked hard. So we'll say it. You won't say it. We'll say it. You've worked hard to get, you know, those companies. You've worked your guts out to get them, and you'll work hard to get other companies. So, yeah, you won't say it. We will. Okay? So there, I've said it. All right. Good to hang out with you guys. All the best. Stay safe. God bless. And we'll catch you guys later. Thanks.